Storm Track 12 meteorologist Les Still here with your Friday morning web forecast. And as we head on in through this weekend, fairly nice weekend in store for us here. Seasonally hot temperatures, lots of sunshine around, and typical summertime splash and dash storms are what we are going to be tracking. But the positive side is the sunshine has returned. Yeah, we're tracking a few clouds around the area this morning. We'll see a few bubble up in the afternoon hours over the next couple days, but no, by no means is a complete washout. And as far as temperatures are concerned, near normal, upper 80s to low 90s. I mean, that's where we should be for this time of year. Again, we are going to be tracking the potential for some action developing along the sea breeze front. And when it does develop, it could have some brief heavy downpours. But again, today and as we head through Sunday, they'll just be isolated, a little bit more widespread for tomorrow. And you've heard me talk about the sea breeze for now most of the summer. So what exactly is it? Well, this is the physics of what exactly happens. The ground heats up quicker than the ocean. So as the air gets heated above the land, it rises up in the atmosphere just as if you're bubbling and boiling a pot of water. Meanwhile, what that does is it rises, it condenses into clouds, and you continue that process, you eventually get enough upward motion that you start to get some storms to develop. But for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Well, when the air goes up, something's got to fill in behind it, and that's where you start to see that cooler air coming in behind that front as it's coming in off of the relatively cooler waters of the ocean. Now, again, we're only talking semantics here. Upper 80s inland spots, low 80s is what the temperatures are over the water. But that 5-6 temperature degree difference does start to drive this process, and it's even more so exacerbated in the early part of the year when you have the surface temperatures of the water a little bit cooler. So as we go through the day today, an isolated storm does develop along that sea breeze front, Onslow, Craven, Carteret, Pamlico, Jones County as it makes its way inland. Again, just isolated here and there, looking for temperatures in the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. As we head overnight tonight, similar to this morning, a little bit of patchy light ground fog possible. Meanwhile, though, we'll see mainly clear skies and muggy temperatures into the mid-70s. A little bit better chance of some storminess in here tomorrow. We do have an upper level disturbance coming through with the jet stream level, which we'll take out in a minute here. And as a result, I think we've got a little bit better chance of some storms making their way into the area for tomorrow afternoon. Cool airs across Canada. Look at Prince Albert. 37 degrees this morning is where we are starting off, with even low 60s in Minneapolis and Chicago. So that cooler air is definitely there across the Great Lakes. And that is going to be close enough by that it's going to hold our temperatures relative in check here. And a lot of this has to do with what's going on at the jet stream level. In fact, this is what it looks like here. Vortex sitting just south of Hudson Bay, and that's going to kind of rotate around. And as it does, we'll get these spokes of vorticity, or short waves, kind of rolling down in this northwesterly flow. Again, it's a gentle sloping trough that we've got in here, no real sharp digging. But from time to time, the vortex does kind of wobble around a little bit, and as it does, we are going to introduce these spokes of vorticity coming southbound and being close enough by to help touch off showers and storms for us here in eastern Carolina. Now, you'll notice, though, what it does is it keeps the excessive cold air bottled up across southern Canada, the excessive warm air bottled up across the desert southwest. So for us here, it's seasonably hot temperatures with the upper 80s and low 90s. A little bit cooler air does start to get into our weather pattern, though, as we head on into next week. In fact, that's reflected on future track with the temperatures here. Again, the cold air remains across the northern Great Lakes. The excessively hot air remains across the deep south, and we're just kind of seasonally hot here in between. Talking about temps to the low 90s on Sunday, and then slightly drier and cooler air does eventually work into the pattern as we go into Monday and Tuesday, as that trough a little bit more amplified across the Great Lakes does allow that colder air to be tapped. I mean, look at the highs in Buffalo on Tuesday, only to the upper 70s. So here's how things play out on future track, as we are going to be tracking that cooler air working its way eventually into the neighborhood here. You'll see that one front coming through today, isolated storms, Onslow, Craven, Carteret, Duplin, eventually working their way up to Pitt and Lenoir County late this afternoon. That front makes its way off the coast. We'll watch our winds go around to a more northwesterly direction as we go overnight tonight. And then we get the sea breeze front activated, which, again, potentially could have some isolated storms along it as we head on in through the day tomorrow. Now, as you get further out in time here, the model, I think, is overblowing the coverage of the isolated storms. But I do think that tomorrow a better chance of seeing the storms than what we are going to be seeing on Sunday. In fact, Sunday I look for a decent amount of sunshine around here, and again, maybe just an isolated storm or two developing along the sea breeze front. Still continuing to track the remnants of Dorian. We've been talking about it now for over a week and a half, 2 weeks, and again, it's not a storm that's organized, but I mean, you can definitely tell where the low-level center is. The models did a fairly good job of not only picking up of where the low-level and mid-level center would be from 10 days away, but the problem was the low-level center never really continued to stay organized, but the mid-level center did, up at around 25,000 feet. You can definitely track that energy in the atmosphere. That's going to remain off the southeast coast as we go on through this weekend. Pretty healthy wave coming off of the African continent. The problem is there's an awful lot of dry Saharan dust out there, and as a result, I guarantee you look at this picture tomorrow, and the wave will practically be non-existent. I think we continue with this pattern of the dry Saharan dust at least up until the middle of this August month. Then after that, though, we're going to be off to the races, and I got a feeling we may have a threat on the southeast U.S. coast by the 3rd or 4th week in August, as we are starting to see that Mann-Julian oscillation change a little bit because it's become more favorable for the upward motion over the tropical Atlantic as we go through the middle to the end of the month. So that's something we'll continue to track and alert you to. But as of right now for the next 2 weeks, no action taking place in the tropics that we have to be worried about. Planning forecast does show isolated storms in here today and Sunday, a little bit better chance, but still not a washout as we head on through our day tomorrow. Temperatures in the upper 80s to low 90s. Overnight lows remaining in the muggy mid-70s. And then we do see that drier and eventually cooler air get back in here for the first part of next week. In fact, I'd say turn the AC off, open your windows up for Monday and Tuesday with some more refreshing air coming our way. Have yourself a good weekend. I'm Storm Track 12 meteorologist Les Still.